Yes, it's that time once again. What time? Spooky time? Unfortunately, no, not yet. Instead, it's time to finish the gardening that Batman started. It's time for Absolute Batman Issue 18. And welcome back to the Dissection Table. Here we take the latest video games, trailers, comics, movies, and more and break them down bit by bit. Before kicking this all off and everything, I should elaborate on the fact that this will actually be my personal coverage on part 3 whenever it comes to Absolute Batman going up against Poison Ivy. So you missed part 1 or 2, you'll find them right over here on the TikTok wing of the Asylum, or take 2 seconds and check out the description down below, and you'll find links that'll lead you not only to the Twitch wing of the Asylum, but also the YouTube wing of the Asylum, where you'll find a dedicated playlist of my coverage on all the TikToks made whenever it comes to the Absolute Batman run, including parts 1 and 2 of Batman going up against Poison Ivy. And definitely considering, joining up with that particular wing of the Asylum over on YouTube, because eventually later this year, all these breakdowns will be exclusively over on YouTube eventually. They're still right here being posted on TikTok, and I'll still post content right here on TikTok, but eventually, yeah, we're shifting gears over to YouTube. Now, without further ado, we're picking up immediately where we left off with the cliffhanger of all things from the last issue, part 2 of my coverage on the Absolute Batman run. What happened was, in that cliffhanger, Martha Wayne was revealed to have actually been in contact with the Court of Owls, but it's way more than that. Based off that cliffhanger from the previous issue, Martha Wayne, she was getting on this train and she was sending this message to her son, aka Bruce Wayne, and now we see her way out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and here she ends up coming face to face with actual members of the Court of Owls. Prior to that, she's sending this little, heartfelt message to her son right here, Bruce right here, and then the Court of Owls hit her with the nursery rhyme, which I covered in the Armory run whenever I was rating the actual Court of Owls. They got a high rating. I either gave them a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. If the Court of Owls is coming after you, you gotta understand, this is a whole entire organization that has hundreds, if not thousands of years of existence under their belt. They're dangerous, but they hit her with the nursery rhyme, which is a means of, just triple confirming the fact that this is in fact her before they snatch her up and take off. From Martha Wayne getting basically picked up by the Court of Owls, we cut over to the heart of the battle of Absolute Batman against Poison Ivy, and things are looking a little tense. Pennyworth, aka Alfred, is in the comms link in Batman's cowl, and he's telling him, kid, if that makeshift mask, because he lost his actual oxygen mask prior in one of the previous issues, but so now he's having to use one of the tentacle-like appendages off his cape to make a makeshift mask, because the spores up here against Ivy, they are so dense that if he loses this mask, even for just a little bit, just a little too long, yeah, Poison Ivy's gonna take him over, mutate him, turn him into a plant monster. So he's like, okay, then don't worry, it won't come off. While that's happening, Alfred clearly has eyes. He sees what, Bruce sees right here when he's fighting Poison Ivy. And don't forget, Ivy in the Absolute Universe, she's not these doppelgangers that he's, turning into pin cushions. No, Ivy does have a physical body, but at the same time, she's incredibly powerful. She doesn't just have a connection to the green. No, she is a part of it, a living, breathing aspect of it. This is about as close to godhood as Ivy can be without her actually tapping into the powers of actual divinity, which she has become super OP in the mainstream DC comic book universe. This isn't that, but it's pretty deadgum close. So yeah, while Bruce is absolutely holding nothing back, this is Batman who he can basically cut loose. These things are not human. He can absolutely destroy them, and he does. The horns on the cow like a bull, nice touch. And he's screaming it out for it. Find me a weakness. Don't tell me they're on my left or my right. I've got this. Just find something I can exploit whenever it comes to Dr. Isley. Cutting from there, we actually get a little bit more of the flashback / origins of Dr. Isley before she became Poison Ivy as we traditionally know her. And yeah, her financy backers and everything, all these greedy corporations that were backing her research, they kind of put her to the torch, so to speak, to put it lightly, and reduced her to nothing but her mutated heart. They did this to / cover up their tracks, considering they wanted Dr. Isley's research for themselves, and the chemical fire that, broke free and reduced her to nothing but a heart, it was over 9,000 degrees. That's almost as hot as a young star. This is kind of terrifying and gut-wrenching at the same time. Yeah, she got reduced to a heart, but she's actively thinking to herself in this flashback sequence. She can see and feel the presence of her mother holding this container that remains her last known, visage of her actual physical body, just her heart. And she wants to reach out and tell her mother, yeah, I'm just a heart, but don't worry, I can feel colors. I'm more alive than ever before. Terrifying stuff, but she can also feel the fact that her mother is in fact dying. Don't forget, we didn't get solid confirmation. I personally, your favorite doctor, kind of diagnosed the fact that her mother was actually slowly passing away from more than likely brain cancer. She can sense that. She wants to reach out to her mother and tell her it's going to be okay, but she knows she's not going to last even 1 hour or even 1 day whenever she hits the hospice center. Okay, when she gets there, she's got hours, if not just a day. That's gut-wrenching, and she can't even break free. But break free, eventually she did, probably too late before her mother ended up passing away, and now here we are in the heart of the battle once again, and now it's the real Poison Ivy up against Batman. He goes on to explain that Pennyworth, Alfred was trying to raise him like, Pennyworth, give me some information or anything. Ivy goes goes on like, yeah, that's not going to work. I'm releasing these extremely rare spores, which can sometimes, futz around and interfere with radio signals, even dolphin signals as well. Whenever they're in the water, they're, the whole entire echolocation, everything. Yeah, plant life's kind of busted in that regard. And she goes on to explain to Batman, no weaknesses, just strengths. You're kind of screwed. And yes, as your favorite doctor, I can confirm, yes, certain spores and their density can actually futz around with radio signals. Pretty scary stuff. All while this is going on, this is what's going on in Bruce's mind. He was trying to track down and come into contact with Waylon Jones. Don't forget, and I covered this in a previous video, he found a magical amulet to help turn Waylon Jones into a human before. Long story, you'll have to check out the other videos for that. And again, you'll find those on the YouTube wing of the Asylum. He tries to get in contact with Oswald Cobblepot, but he's hired goons to take care of him whenever he just wants to talk to Oswald Cobblepot, aka Penguin, and he can't even get Riddler to answer the door, even though he sees him on surveillance. And out of all of his friends, Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, is the one that has gone completely MIA. He has gone on the win. He was actually the first that completely dipped off of the radar whenever it comes to his stay at the hospital. They're even scrubbing his name off the doors at the district attorney's office. He's gone, and now Bruce Wayne is just like, okay, I've lost all my friends. My life sucks. That's what's going through Bruce Wayne's head. We know that considering as he's getting his butt whooped by Ivy right here. She goes on to explain, we're connecting. You are, in fact, mutating. That mask ain't doing too much, and I can feel your pain, your suffering, everything you're going through, from your friends to your mother. Bruce Wayne's response, get out of my head. And her response was, how about we team up? How about you become my Dark Knight? Her response also came in the form of a rebuttal of her mutating her whole entire arm into some type of plant lead injector. What the heck, anime? Ivy, I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of prepping him up. I mean, look at you. You got spikes like a cactus, wings that cut like an ostrich. Just breathe me in. You're already there. Let's work together. Batman just like, ptooey, and that's what that actual text means in comic run. He's just like, ptooey, just spitting something out of his mouth like, yeah, that ain't happening. Her response is like, ah, yes, and the stubbornness of a cockroach. Don't worry, Dark Knight Batman. I'll drag you into the light one way or another. And yeah, to that, I just gotta say, take her down or just run like hell, because you're not really doing great at winning this fight. So while all this is happening, we have this other story going on right here with Martha. We didn't forget about her, and she's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by actual agents, members of the Court of Owls, and they're already telling her, you know the rules and consequences for breaking communication, so why, oh why have you done this? Long story made short, Martha Wayne cuts straight to the chase and basically explains things have changed. Hope springs eternal, and that hope comes in the form of the last thing we would ever expect. The thing that's spurring her on to break the rules, get in contact with the Court of Owls again, it's her son. It's Batman. And she goes on to explain, you've got him to thank for that, all right? That's why things are getting back into motion again. And she's got a little bit of leeway here in order to kind of tell the Owls what's up, because as it's revealed, Martha Wayne, she was a Talon. The Talons, again, you got to be following me here on TikTok to have seen that breakdown if you're unfamiliar with them. They have their agents, their top dogs, and the Talons are the ones that you send. And I said this before, if you send like 10, 20 Talons at Batman prior to him actually knowing who they were, they could probably drop him. Ominously right here, this one owl right here goes on to explain to Martha it doesn't really matter. In fact, you've got Batman to blame for what's about to happen. A little ominous. Unfortunately, we're slowly starting to run out of time here, so I am gonna have to break this into a part 4, unfortunately. So if you're enjoying this breakdown, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to do it into a part 4. I will definitely be posting that today, so make no mistake about it. So if you're enjoying the breakdown to everything in the coverage on issue 18 of Absolute Batman, please make sure to give me a follow, like, and a comment over here. And definitely make sure you hit that follow so I can continue to keep you informed on all things video games, shows, comics, and movies, and more, and so that you'll be notified whenever the next and final part of Batman and the Absolute Universe goes up against Poison Ivy in the grand finale. But again, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.